And last but not least, we are going to talk about comments made by Malcolm Jamal Warner in terms of he's sort of shied away from listening to hip hop music and rap because of what he feels is the overuse of the N word and then the word bitches. He kind of feels like these rappers just overuse it. And one of the rappers that he used to cite this for himself is J. Cole. He said he felt like he stopped listening to J. Cole because he just couldn't take how much J. Cole uses those words in his music, and he feels like it's this intentional ploy where it's like every other word, every other line, every other bar, J. Cole's using the word. And so Malcolm Jamal Warner's like, man, I can't even really listen to this stuff no more. So these are interesting comments, obviously, which is why we broached them here on the channel. So I'll let you hear for yourself this small snippet here of what Malcolm Jamal Warner said about those two words in particular and how they have sort of disenfranchised him from the music that he used to love.
There should be a moratorium on both of those words in hip hop because it's low-lying fruit. It's so easy. Everybody does it to the point that it's corny. Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing nigga and bitch as much every 2 sentences because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist.
And you think it's just too low hanging fruit for him to use those words.
I feel like.
All right, so that's what he had to say there.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's from not all hood. And that was a TikTok video. So I kind of feel similar to him in that regard. But what do you think about what he had to say there? About this whole situation?
Yeah. For sure, man. I agree, dude. Not all hood. That's the name of his podcast. That's his podcast, man. So he's
that's his podcast.
Yeah, he's kicking it off. He's trying to put his voice out there. And if he talking like that, I'll be watching more, man. I appreciate that take. Not too many people gonna be bold enough to say that, especially in this world where you talk about where everybody's trying to be friendly with everybody and trying to be cool with everybody. You can't give a critical take like that on somebody like J. Cole like that. But I definitely agree that because I've said that here. Because I used to listen to J. Cole stuff a lot, but then he got into this pattern, in my opinion, of this, always saying the N-word all the time. And to me, it gets to the point where it was getting annoying because it's like, because when you're rapping, dude, and you're using the N-word, all the time, it sounds like a crutch. If you are making music, now this is me personally. So me personally, I wanted to make music to uplift our community. I was gonna make bangers. I was gonna make stuff you can dance to in a club. But my criteria was no N words unless I need to drop it, or and no B words unless I needed to drop it, but it's not towards a woman. So I wasn't gonna call women B's or O's. I wasn't gonna do that, and because in order to rap that way, you need to be more creative. And it doesn't require much, just wrap around that. But when you're in this default mode, you kind of freestyle. And if you freestyle and always drop that in as a filler word, then you just kind of just filler it out. So it's kind of like if you went to, you bought a supplement and it's supposed to be, 100%, whatever powder in there, let's say it's ginger and something else. And then, you look on the ingredients, however, and you'll see this whatever compound in there that's just basically filler. So it's like, well, why am I taking all this other stuff? Why are y'all putting filler in my supplements? And so the N word kind of acts as a filler if used too much. And J. Cole, in my opinion, used it quite a bit. And yeah, it's pretty much every other sentence. And so that turned me off. It felt lazy from somebody that I respected heavily, somebody that I felt like could outright me at the time, which I felt was impossible. All right. So I was like, hey man, this guy might give me a run for my money. But when he started rapping like that, I said, hey, he gave that up. Because I know how hard it is to write the initial stuff that he does. And I felt like lately he took his foot off the gas. So yeah, I agree with Malcolm Jamal Warner. I feel like we need to get rid of those words, or use them less, articulate ourselves more, because especially from our real MCs, we expect more from those guys, I would say. But what are your thoughts, man? How do you feel about those words being used in everyday hip hop vernacular? You feel like it should go? And what are your thoughts on J. Cole on this matter?
Yeah, I'm with Malcolm-Jamal Warner. It's culture though. Here's the thing with me. Now I'm gonna personalize it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So when we was growing up doing this madness,
Mm-hmm.
I used to use the N-word pretty often. Because it was my cultural signifier. The world was telling me the world was telling me that in order for me to participate in my culture, I need to use this word. And if I'm not using this word, then I am not adequately being a part of my culture. And I think that all humans intrinsically desire to be a part of and participate in a culture that they feel they belong to. So because I felt that same yearning, I was using the word all the time because the world around me was dictating to me that it is a part of my culture to use this word, which was heavily reinforced through the music. Let's not kid ourselves. So I used to use the word a lot, but I knew in the back of my mind that there was something that wasn't all the way right about it. Now, to be honest, I used to kick the other word around here and there, but I never really felt all the way comfortable using that word. I just never really used it. I would use it, but like you said, when it came to your music, I would use it as a context to just kind of be incendiary, but I wasn't using it to refer to women specifically. So I would use it in certain contexts, that this bitch ass thing or this product, some I was referring to an inanimate, to an object or a thing that I don't like, but I wasn't directly calling women it because there was just a part of me that just didn't feel right doing it. Like I went through my phase where I did it, but eventually I grew out of it pretty quick. I would say by the time I was in my, I don't know, 20s, mid 20s, I wasn't, and anybody can vouch for this. Anybody who knows me, you can ask anybody. I've never really used that word that often to refer to women. Nobody will tell you that they heard me doing that a lot. N-word, completely different story. I was using that word up until I was maybe 30, early 30s, because I felt like I was supposed to. I felt like it was my obligation. Like literally, I felt as though it was my responsibility to use that word because as someone who wants to be a part of my culture, if my culture is dictating that in order to be a part of it, I need to use that word. Well, here I am using the word, even though I knew it wasn't all the way right. So at a certain point, though, I grew out of it because it just became too much for me. And I've said on this channel, I work to eliminate the word from my own personal vocabulary because the use of it has just become way too confusing and convoluted. I don't understand it. And this is just my opinion. I do not understand how somebody like J. Cole can use the word as much as he uses it, knowing that a sizable percentage of his fan base are not black people, and then turn around and get upset if those same non-black people use the word back. I don't understand. To me, that's confusing. To me, it's confusing. And I don't know how you can explain how that doesn't. I don't know how somebody can explain how that makes sense to me. So that's been my position this whole time. Like y'all have basically commodified this word and turned it into a product and sold it to the world. So when the world wants to use the product because they're buying it with their money, they're buying it with their streams, they're buying it with, the bandwidth that they allow it to occupy on their Spotify's or their Apple Musics or whatever. They're playing it in their cars, like they're spending actual money. These people are going to Coachella to see J. Cole. Like they
Yeah.
go to South by Southwest to see J. Cole.
Yeah.
They paying the money to go to this stuff.
Mhm.
The word is flying around all over the place. So my thing is, we know this. It's not just black people endorsing this stuff. It's not just black people paying for it. The record labels who greenlight this stuff are led by people at the executive level who are probably mostly not black. So how do we understand and know this stuff, yet we still want to police people using it and get mad and outraged because a person who's not black uses the word? I don't understand it. It does not, that to me does not make sense. And I like things that make, I feel comfortable when things make sense to me. That does not make sense. It doesn't. So I looked around and I was like, okay, I see how this is going. It doesn't make sense. It's cringe. The word to me has become cringe. I don't even like hearing it anymore. I don't use it anymore. I really don't like hearing it in the music anymore. Like, to me, overall, it's just cringe. It sounds like these rappers are just throwing a bunch of ingredients into a blender and they're hitting the smoothie button and they're just blending the words all in there because they feel that that's the formula that they need to drink a good rap smoothie.
Correct.
That's what this sounds like now.
Yeah.
It sounds like a positive joke.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it no longer sounds authentic. There's confusion around it because we put the word all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But then we want to get mad when certain people use it. I just took myself out of this. I said, you know what? I'm not using the word anymore. I'm not saying it. And that's not me trying to get on my high horse to tell other people to stop using it or to tell these rappers that they need to stop using it. That's just me personally saying I'm removing myself from this situation because I feel as though if I continue to use the word, I'm going to continue to contribute to this confusion. And that'll be my individual way of contributing to this madness. So I don't like it either. More of these rappers do need to be more creative, but you know what it takes to make music where you're not utilizing a formula? It takes talent,
right,
and ability. And most of these individuals do not have said talent or ability. And it's disappointing that J. Cole, who allegedly does have said talent and ability, still uses the same formula. He still goes to the same grocery aisle, buys the same GMO products, throws them in his blender, hits the smoothie button, and out comes the N words and the B words in every other song. It's ridiculous. But I'm with Warner. I don't like it. I made a personal decision to stop using that word a long time ago, and I'm all the better for it. So I hear him all the way. I get what he's saying.
Yeah, man. And the last thing I'll say is that, J. Cole confuses me. Just the artist, like, I don't know what they expect from this. I don't know what's going on, because he'll do this whole holistic thing where he's walking around looking like Moses. You'd think he was about to part the Red Sea, how he's walking down subway aisles and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this guy really about that life. But then he'll make a song like Grippy, where he's sitting there, making a song about how tight a girl's box is and how he putting his girl's phone in, and her name was Grippy. And it's like, I don't know what his marital status. I'm pretty sure he's still out here on the market or whatever.
No, he's married. He's married.
Yeah, so that's what I don't understand what the Grippy song is. I don't understand when he's talking about bees in his song. Still to this day, like, I get it that you're a rapper, so you gotta say these things, but you're supposed to be above being a rapper. So he does these things that disappoint me. And I'm pretty sure this is where Jamal Warner's coming from, where you're expecting certain levels of taking it to the next notch as a lyricist, but you're reverting to all of these gimmicky things. And so if I look at you like you got Kobe talent, then put in the Kobe work ethic to be at your best. But you clearly have the talent to do this, but you're doing dribble, step back, modern, ugly stuff. Yep. And it's like, where's that go get him that I thought that was there? You're disappointing me. So if there's anybody that owes the black community apology, it's not Will Smith. Okay, it's J. Cole for misleading me, man. I really thought this guy was going to lead us through the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. You know what I'm saying? But he's really on some other stuff, man. So we'll see what's happening with all of this. I'm still supporting J. Cole from afar. I would like to see him clean this up, But I agree with Malcolm Jamal Warner, man, and shouts out to him and his podcast. Nice name too. Not all hood, nah. So we're not all hood. They go together, all of it.
Yeah.
So nice little name, and I'm glad to hear that he's unmuting. So somebody from the community that's been in the industry, done worked around these people, but was a solid dude, because you never really hear anything about him. You know, he ain't Eddie Winslow in it right now. He ain't on that page, bro. He's not on that. You know what I'm saying? And I would say shout out to Eddie, but I don't know what that's gonna mean, bro.
Nah. Eddie need to get insured on the Nick Cannon plan.
Yeah, we need to shut him down. We don't need no more of that.
Yeah.
He's not insured.
Eddie need that insurance. We need to determine Eddie Winslow's insurability right now, because it ain't looking good for him. It ain't looking good.
Lord have mercy.
But yeah, no, I feel you, man. J. Cole should be somebody who is above the fray and doesn't care about conformity. I mean, you're apologizing for making diss tracks aimed at Kendrick when all you were doing was being competitive, because in your soul you feel like that's not the type of person you want to be. So like all of that stuff should work hand in hand. I don't see how people cherry pick their righteousness. Like that to me is just weird. But he is very much subject to conformity. J. Cole is subject to rap conformity. And I used to say that Wale was the biggest identity crisis rapper that I'd ever listened to, because you get introspective Wale, but then you get MMG Wale, and sometimes I didn't know which one. It's like, okay, is this MMG Wale or is this Falarin? Like, which guy am I talking to right now? But I think J. Cole takes the cake. I think J. Cole is more of this thing of like, do I do this or am I above the fray? And sometimes it kind of seems like it's whatever side of the bed he wakes up on that determines which one of those individuals he is. I wonder if he's a Gemini.
And his collab with Drake is what sent me over.
Yeah.
Because before all this stuff, I was like, bro, why are you teaming up with him? And then it's all this stuff revisited of, I don't know what's going on with this guy. So yeah, man, good point. I forgot about Wale and his confused mindset. He was conflicted.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. But I think Wale has come to terms with who he is, because the last few things he's done, he's been this the whole time. He's kind of distanced himself. I guess he letting Ross and Meek Mill, drown in that madness over there. He's kind of taking a step back somewhat. I don't think that they still are friendly with one another, because Wale will still pop up on their songs, but I think that it's not the same as it was back in the late 2000s when that whole MMG thing was starting off. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I just kind of feel like I'm with Warner. I am. And it's become cringe. It is like, it's cringe to me. I don't see how people still use it the way they're using it, but clearly they still using it like that. I don't understand it. The invocation of the word to me has become very convoluted, and I just don't understand how people can make sense of this. Like, make that make sense. Doja Cat's fan base is 17, 18, 19-year-old white girls. She puts the N-word in all her music, and then she goes to a concert and tells white people not to say the N-word. Make that make sense.
Right.
I don't know how that makes sense. How does that make sense? And like, I know Doja Cat has a lot of fans that cross the racial and ethnic spectrum. I get that. But let's be clear here. A sizable percentage of her fan base are the very same people whom she told to not say the lyrics in her own music. So that's my thing. These people, I've given up trying to understand them. I've given up asking them to be accountable. I've just given up. So what I decided to do was, I'm going to live in my bubble. I'm going to listen to the few people who I like listening to, and I'm going to just call it a day, because the rest of this madness, I can't make any sense of it.
Agreed. Oh, snap. Hey, you just hit a snag with the glitchies. But it's kind of like the mic popping a little bit.
Can you still hear it?
Yeah, it's probably like a cord, like unplug, plug back in type deal. But yeah, man, 100%, dude. So we'll see how this pans out. We'll see how it plays out with Jamal Warner and J. Cole's legacy, man. Because that diss track, the apology, the grippy song, he is having a bad 2024, dude. But I think this is due to the fact that he wasn't standing on business for a little bit, and it's starting to show itself a little bit. So hopefully he's staying on business, man. Stop trying to go with trends and try to chase a dollar, because I felt like that's what he's been up to lately. So hopefully he tightens up. Hey, get an audio check now, man. How's it going?
We good. We good. We good.
Oh man, we solid, dog.
Yeah.
We solid.
Yeah, man. I'm with it, man. I hope he, yeah. I don't know, man. It is what it is. I'm removed from this music stuff anyway, so whatever he figures out, good for him, I guess. I just think it's all just become entirely too confusing for me, and I like it when stuff makes sense. But yeah, shouts out to Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Not all hood. I like that. I'm gonna be checking it out, man. I'm gonna be listening to it as well. I'm gonna be paying attention. So, shouts out to Malcolm-Jamal Warner, man. But on that note, good stuff, good stream tonight. We're gonna go ahead and close things out. Conscious Approach on YouTube as well as various other outlets. Anywhere where you get your podcast and all of that good stuff. We also stream live on Instagram as well. Check me out on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS, and also check out Conscious Approach on Instagram at ConApproach, CONAPPROACH. Shouts out to everybody who's joining us along for the ride, man. Keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that like button, keep leaving them comments. We certainly appreciate it. And putting good vibes in the air for the Dallas Mavericks ahead of Game 3 tomorrow night, man. Just make it a series, guys. Come on, boys.
I know. Hey, what up, y'all? The name's Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube and on TikTok. Dogon_SS over there as well. And I'm also posting videos, guys. Look out. Make sure you guys subscribe over there. And as I say on every part, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it clear. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. All right. So until the next time, guys, we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Yes, sir. Another video in the books. We certainly appreciate the support. We will catch y'all later. We are out. Peace.
Go Kyrie. Go Kyrie. Cook him up.
Go PJ Washington.
PJ. Yeah, boy, that boy playing for more than just a champion.